Hello again, I'm Victoria Williams, and in this video I'm going to explain to you how to rewrite a rhythm in a new time signature, which is something that comes up on the Grade 5 Music Theory exam very frequently. Please make sure that you've watched the first video on time signatures, which is called How Time Signatures Work, before you watch this video, or you might not understand everything that I'm talking about. What do we really mean when we talk about rewriting a rhythm? Well, you can change the way a rhythm is written without changing the way it sounds. For example, take this rhythm in 4/4. If we change the time signature to 4/2, the note values are changed, but it sounds the same. If the time signature changes from 4/4 to 4/2 or even 4/8, changing the rhythm is quite easy. This is because the top number of the time signature is the same for 4/8, 4/4 and 4/2, so all of these time signatures represent simple quadruple time. The only difference is the length of note used for the main beat. So to change 4 crotchets per bar to 4 minims, just double the length of each note. Usually in the Grade 5 theory exam, you have to change a rhythm from simple time to compound time, or vice versa. So for example, the time signature 4/4, which is simple quadruple time, has to change to compound quadruple time. Or let's take 6/8, which is compound duple time. 6/8 needs to be changed to simple duple time. Transforming the main beat is just a matter of adding or taking away a dot. 4/4 is simple time with 4 crotchets per bar, so to transform it into the compound equivalent, use 4 dotted crotchet beats per bar. Then count up the quavers and you'll find the new time signature is 12/8. Working the other way round, 6/8 is compound time with 2 dotted crotchets per bar. So, to change it into simple time, we take away the dots and use 2 undotted crotchets per bar. This makes 2/4. To transform any notes which are longer than the main beat, we do the same thing, add or remove a dot. These minims in 4/4 will become dotted minims in 12/8. And the semibreve becomes a dotted semibreve. Transforming subbeats requires a bit more thought. Remember that in simple time the main beat subdivides into 2, but in compound time it divides into 3. If you see 2 quavers in 4/4, for example, each one is exactly half a main beat. So you can't write a crotchet plus a quaver because that would change the original rhythm. Instead, you need to use a duplet to show that 2 notes are played in the time of 3. Use the same kind of note as in the original, for example quavers here, and add a 2 to make a duplet. When you change from compound to simple time, the opposite effect happens. To transform this 6/8 rhythm, you'll need to use triplets, which show that 3 notes should be played in the time of 2. Again, exactly the same value of note has been used, quavers, and then a crotchet and a quaver. Here's a summary of what we've learnt so far. To transform the main beat or any longer beat, just add or remove a dot. To transform the subbeat, put a triplet or a duplet sign. Finally, let's look at what happens when a note in simple time is already dotted. For example, this rhythm in 2/4. The crotchet is already dotted, so we can't just add a dot. When a note is dotted in simple time, the first thing you need to do is break it up into a full main beat tied on to whatever is left over. In 2/4, the main beat is a crotchet, so we break up the dotted crotchet into one plain crotchet tied to a quaver. And now we treat the main beat as I described before. We add a dot. And we treat the 2 quaver subbeats, which are left over, As I described earlier, we add a duplet symbol. The transformation is now complete. And here's a full summary for you for how to rewrite a rhythm without changing the effect. A main beat or longer, add or remove a dot. For a subbeat, add a duplet or triplet sign. If there is a dotted note in simple time, break it into a main beat, tie it to the remainder, add a dot, add a duplet.